Hello humans, welcome back to my channel. Today we are watching a video about the Artemis II Earth photo versus the Apollo Earth photos, 2026 versus 1972. And this is a YouTuber I am well familiar with, Jared Polin. I'm going to link his channel down in the description. Make sure to give him a follow. I'm a professional photographer for a living, and I watch his videos all the time and learn tons of stuff that I apply in my own photography. So I saw he came out with this video about the Apollo world photo, and I was like, that's awesome, gotta watch it on the Space Channel, and that's what we're doing. If you're wondering, I do not have a photography channel officially. I've kind of got a car channel. I don't post to it regularly. I post to this one every single day, and I will continue posting every single day, and hopefully this channel will take off at some point. The car stuff, it's more casual. I do it a lot, but I don't really post my car photography on many places besides Instagram. If you're curious, you can check it out. It's at Stinger_auto, or if you want to see my general photography stuff, like my weddings and everything, you can do at Stinger Photography LLC. Stinger, Stinger. Anyways, that's enough plugging for me. Let's get into this video.
The difference is literally night and day.
Okay.
Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and I've gotten a lot of requests to share my thoughts on the photos that are coming back from the Artemis II mission. Now, the Artemis II mission is going around the moon, and along the way, it is taking a lot of photos, or the astronauts on board have been trained to take photos, and they've taken Nikon cameras up there.
Yeah, he'll probably say it in just a second here. I heard they take the Nikon D5s, even though they're like 15 years old or something, because they're like space tested. I guess the ISS uses Nikon D5s, and I guess they have the highest native ISO out of any camera on the market, and that's why they use it.
Camera that Artemis 3 will take and Artemis 4 will take to the surface of the moon is going to be a Z9 by Nikon, and we fought pretty hard to get just that camera on.
They've upgraded, although he did say Artemis 3 and Artemis 4, so Artemis 2 might still have the D5.
Board. We'll also have our two Nikon D5s, which are great in low light and great for optical viewing of the lunar surface with our long lens. So lots of good photo TV work.
Now, this isn't about whether they should have taken Nikon cameras or some other form of cameras, because guess what? We're not there. They're there. They're taking pictures, and it really doesn't matter what they're using. But now that I say that, it kind of does matter, and I do have a fear, but I will get to that fear at the end of this video, because I know you guys want to hear my take on the latest photos, especially the one called Hello World, which was taken in 2026, just a few days ago, in comparison to the blue marble photo that was taken in 1972. There's been a lot of talk about why does that one look so good?
Yeah, the one from 72 looks crazy,
and this one looks the way that it looks. So let's jump into the recent photo. This one was taken by Reed Weissman. He is the commander of the Artemis II mission, and he used the Nikon D5 with a 14 to 24 millimeter 2.8 at 22 millimeters at 51,000
ISO. I know this isn't a photography channel, and maybe someday I will start a photography channel. Just to give you a baseline, I never shoot above like 1,000 ISO. He's shooting this at 51,000 ISO. I try to stay as close to 100 to 350 ISO as I can, ever. Sometimes if I'm shooting in the dark, I'm bumping it up to 2,500. I've never, I mean, my camera can't even go this high.
100 ISO. It's done at 1/4 of a second at f4. 51,200 ISO. That is absolutely insane. Now, some people were like, well, why did you shoot so high? Such a high ISO, why is that even necessary? Remember at the beginning of the video where I said the difference is literally night and day? Well, this photo was taken of the dark side, or the nighttime on Earth. Because as you can see in the photo, the sun is in the background. That's the halo coming around the right-hand side of the image. And I believe on the left-hand side, that's probably the window that you're seeing and part of the Artemis 2. And I'm pretty sure that this might be a reflection of the window that's happening right there. But look at this. You have the Aurora here at the top of the frame. That is absolutely insane. Now, a few minutes before this photo was taken, or right around the same time, Reed also shot it this way. He shot it as he saw it. So 51,200 is absolutely insane, and that's something they couldn't do in 1972. You might be wondering, why did they take 10-year-old cameras on board this mission? Well, that's because NASA extensively tests all stuff that is going into space to make sure that it can handle the radiation, the shaking, and everything that it will be put through because it is going into space.
Yeah, things being in space, you don't think about it, but the shutter, even though it's kind of spring-loaded, the shutter does have, like, it's built in gravity, and it functions in gravity. And so for a shutter to go from an in-gravity movement to a no-gravity movement, I'm sure that can mess with the internals of the camera. Now, I'm curious why they don't just take mirrorless cameras. It seems like that would be the best option now that that's a thing that exists. But maybe they're about to get into this. It looks like mirrorless goes to the moon right there. So
it also came out that Reed Weissman was able to get a Nikon Z9 on board because it's in the manifest, so they took that on board as well to take photos. The reason is that is the camera that will be going back to the moon in the Artemis 3 missions, and that's the camera that everybody has been training on. It doesn't matter.
I'm curious what Hasselblad thinks about this. Hasselblad is the camera manufacturer that they originally took to the moon to film the Apollo missions. And Hasselblad still makes cameras. They are a much higher niche because they're very expensive. But I'm curious what Hasselblad thinks about Nikon going to the moon and not Hasselblad.
Matter what camera they took up there, whether it's a Nikon.
I think they still exist. I'm pretty sure they do. They might not, but I think Hasselblad still exists.
Canon, a Sony, or whatever. It's just a matter of these are astronauts and they are there to document. They're not photographers, but they are trained to do a little bit of everything. But let's look at the Blue Marble photo in comparison. This is the Blue Marble photo. Mind you, I added Skittles to it because this is how it comes off the internet. And this is...
Skittles is his preset. I'll just... 5,000 foot overview, 5,000 mile overview. When you are editing pictures, you're doing a lot of light correction, you're doing some dehaze, you're doing some clarity adjustment, you're doing some sharpness adjustment, you're doing some color adjustments, contrast, stuff like that. Those are all typical adjustments you have in a photograph. You can save all the things you did, and it's called a preset. And so then you can import a new photo and you can just hit the preset button and it just goes to that preset and it adjusts everything the same way you did on the last picture you saved it from. I use presets a lot. I like to use live presets. A lot of photographers, including Fro, likes to use he likes to use presets, so like, or hard presets as they're otherwise called, which is like, I don't know how to explain it. Live presets for me, I'll edit an image, and then I'll take a bunch of images that I shot around that image, and I'll apply the preset to those images. And then if I enter a new lighting scenario or a new settings scenario, then I'll just re-edit the image, copy those presets, and then apply it to the images around that image. I don't know if that makes sense if you're not a photographer, but basically a lot of photographers online will design special presets for different scenarios. There's thousands of them out there. They put them into packs and you can buy those packs. And if you're a brand new photographer, you don't really know how to edit yet, or you know how to edit, but you really like someone else's editing style, you can buy their presets, download it, and then just hit the buttons for the different presets that they already have that you can apply to your photos. So that's what he's advertising here. That's what Skittles is. It's one of his more famous presets that is for sale. You can go on his website, froKnowsPhotos.com/FroPack4 to buy his stuff.
This is me adding Skittles to it. You might be like, well, why does this look so much better than that? Well, part of the reason is, actually, the main reason is, it's the sunny side of Earth. When you have more light, you are going to get better images. Now, this was also done with a Hasselblad. It was done on 70mm film using
Told you.
an 80
Hasselblad. Told you. That's what they used.
millimeter lens. I believe the shutter speed was 1/250th of a second, which is where it was locked, and they were able to switch the aperture to f11. The way that the astronauts in 1972 were able to change the film speed was they literally changed the film back on the back of the camera, and that's how they had color, they had black and white. I believe it was 64 ASA speed film, which was it wasn't Kodachrome, it was Ektachrome film. Yes, chrome film is amazing, but also 70mm film versus 35mm is a major difference. Now, the major difference is the light, literally night and day. But also, I want to show you the original negative right here. This is the scan that's posted of the blue marble image. I went ahead and hit it with Skittles. This is the original. I went ahead and tweaked it. NASA went ahead and cropped it to give you this image right here. So if you were sitting there going, why does one look so much better than the other? It's simple, night and day. Would I rather have a 70mm sensor versus 35mm? Yes, but you'll never see film at 51,200 ISO. So keep that in mind.
True. So digital cameras can take, higher ISO. They can do different settings than film cameras could because you're not restricted to the physical limitations of what a film strip can offer you. But the downside is that you get much higher resolutions on film than you do on most photography. I mean, there is some sensors out there that are really big and really good sensor sizes, but they're not 70mm big, and so you're still not going to get the same exact resolution as you would on a film camera on most of your digital cameras today, unless you're a professional like me and you can afford it. It does cost a lot of money. I have more money invested in my photography gear than I do in my current vehicle.
When someone is telling you that, oh, technology has advanced so much, but why do the pictures not look so good? It's literally night and day, as I've already said. A quick side note, I did photograph Reed Weissman back in 2019. This is him when he was going into the neutral buoyancy lab, when they were going into the pool. Let me just show you, because I was there. Here are the photos. This is the space station under the water. So I was there.
I gotta go. I gotta get a media pass. I gotta go to Houston and I gotta shoot some stuff because I am my worlds are colliding right now with this video. Like photography, space, they're like merging together in this video. And I know this video might be a little bit over the head of some of my audience. It's not really a great fit for this channel. It might be a little bit too technical on the photography side, but I love it. And it's my channel, so I get to do what I want. And I want to do this. I want to go there and shoot things like this.
And remember, if you're media or press, or you want to do an assignment, or you're in school and you want to go to NASA, just call NASA. Talk to the media department. Say, I am doing a story on. And guess what they're going to say? When would you like to come down? Because remember,
that's cool.
They are a government organization. We pay taxes. We can get access to this stuff. Now, don't go there if you just want to go there for...
I didn't realize that. I mean, I guess I knew all those things. I didn't put them all together like that. I'm going to call Kennedy Space Center and say, I would like to come down and do media stuff. And then I'm going to call Houston. I'm going to plan out a whole trip. I am so excited right now. You might not be able to tell. I am so excited right now realizing I can do this.
Fun. Have an assignment. That's exactly what I did. I had an assignment, and I've been to 3 different NASA locations now. But what I found cool, I just want to quickly show you this. For astronauts use only, I did not sit there. I just found it funny that there was a mannequin under there. And this is Reed Weissman. I had no idea when taking these in 2019 that I would come back to these images today and be like,
that's really
wow,
cool.
That was Reed Weissman.
So cool.
I was actually using a Nikon Z7 back in the day. Astronaut in chair, astronaut getting ready to go into the water, and I just had access to do these photos. Him staring right at me. This photo is actually available on my website if you'd like to purchase one. I just love that you have the flag in his eye right there. I love this photo a lot. Anyway,
I'm gonna go do that.
Going in, but look at this. Right here. Just as he's peeking, bobbing above the water, his eye is peeking out, and we got that awesome photo of
that is
him.
an awesome
Now, another photo that Reed beamed back. Now, they use lasers, by the way. They actually beam this stuff with a direct laser connection back to NASA.
I heard about this. I have no idea how this works. I would like to watch a video on this technology. I have never heard of this technology before this mission, but I've been hearing the past few days about this. Just for future context, if you're watching this and you're wondering when I recorded it, as I'm recording this, they're still up there. They haven't come back yet. So, but I've been hearing about this, and I need to look into this because I have no idea how this works. I've never heard of this before.
NASA, and they're able to transfer, so much data so quickly. It is insane. I actually am really partial to this image. Really like the feeling of this photo. But
I wish it was recropped a little bit. That's just the photographer of me speaking. I would have done a 1/4 or a 1/3 shot, so it would have been over to the left a little bit more, over to the right a little bit more. But otherwise, really cool perspective.
Fear. Let's talk about my fear. My fear is that they have iPhones on board. And my fear is that we become very accepting of mediocrity. And what I mean by that is in photography, that the lowest common denominator, basic snapshots, lack of an understanding for the fundamentals has taken over. And that the acceptance of mediocrity and saying that images are good enough has been accepted. And that's my fear, is that we're going too far down that road. But I don't worry about it too much because there's always going to be quality, and quality is always going to win. Now, I'm not saying that Reed has done anything wrong with the images that he's beamed back.
I get where he's going with this. There is a real fear as a media professional that eventually they'll switch to iPhones and have a shot on iPhone commercial for, the Mars or whatever, and it won't be, actual good cameras. And for anyone watching who doesn't know, iPhones take great pictures, but you can take those pictures, and if you try to blow it up to a wall hang, it's not nearly the resolution that you would get with a professional camera. They take really good pictures for viewing on phones. Besides that, printing them or hanging them on your wall or turning them into an advertising banner that goes across the front of a building, iPhone pictures can't do that because the sensor is too small, the resolution is not good enough. You have to use a professional camera for stuff like that. So to a degree, I guess I get his fear. I don't necessarily foresee NASA ever saying, hey, we think iPhone photos are good enough. We don't need to take real cameras up there. I think they've shown so far in their commitment to bring big lenses up there that they understand that they need big lenses to shoot the things they're shooting, which inherently means they also understand that they need pro-grade cameras to go up there as well. I would like to see some Canon representation up on the moon. That would be great. Maybe I'll be the first to do it. Who knows?
From the Artemis 2 mission. He's up there to complete a mission, but also capture these images. And the one thing...
That's the other thing, yes. I'm glad he commented on that, brought me back around to that point. They're not photographers. They may enjoy it as a hobby, but as a profession, they're not photographers. They're scientists. They're engineers. And photography is an aspect of their job, but it's not their main goal. And so they're going to do a good job because they've been trained to use the equipment, which good for them, and they are doing a good job. But their photography is just a very small aspect of the many job responsibilities they have. So at the end of the day, you can't critique them too much on the photos because this is not what they do for a living. It might be what I do for a living, but it's not what everyone does for a living. So at the end of the day, I can critique the photos, but I'm not going to be too hard on them because they're taking good enough photos for people who are not professional photographers for a living.
Thing you can't take away from the 4 astronauts up there is that they are there and you are not. So you can't moan and complain about the job they're doing because they're there and they're going to capture what they're going to capture. But back to the fear is that they reach for the iPhone to take photos when they should be reaching for the mirrorless cameras and the DSLRs that are on board and use the best possible quality cameras and lenses and raw files that they could to document for all of history. Would I love to have a medium format, a large format, something up there that's 100 megapixels, that's huge? Yeah, because I'd rather have better quality and be able to just have the largest file possible. We also know that there's GoPros up there. We know that the images from GoPros are not going to be spectacular or fantastic. We know that iPhone images are going to be great when you look at them on your screen.
Yeah.
But when you can go back to that blue marble photo from 1972 and zoom in on it because of how large of a file you get off of a 70 millimeter image for something that's off of 35 millimeters or something that is off of a teeny tiny iPhone sensor. Look, it's amazing that you could take an iPhone into space and you could take pictures with it. But just because you have it doesn't mean you really should. That's my fear, is that they take only pictures that matter with a cell phone and you're left with these super compressed small files. I think one of the coolest things right now is that
from what I've seen, they haven't done that. I mean, I understand his fear is that they'll transition into doing that because they'll see it as ease. They will see it and be like, oh, I can just take a picture with this out the window. I don't need to get the big old thing, you know. Hopefully they don't transition to that. Hopefully they understand enough about the difference between the two and the difference in the resolution between the two. But you know, you never know. I have seen, from what I've seen, it looks like they mostly take pictures on their iPhones, just from what I've seen, of things that they're also photographing with cameras. It doesn't seem like they're replacing it. And I think iPhones and Androids too, I don't want to disclude Android people, of which I am one. I am not an iPhone person. I use iPads, but I use Android phone. Anyways, so I think it's great to take pictures inside the craft because everything's closer. And it's a lot easier to zoom in, zoom out with phones than it is necessarily with cameras. You need to switch lenses to zoom in and zoom out the same way. And it's so much faster to do with the phone. That being said, you'll get lower resolution images of the inside than you could be getting if you used a professional grade camera. But I think it'd be great if there would be a policy instituted at some point that's like taking pictures outside of the spacecraft, professional grade camera. Taking pictures inside the spacecraft, you can use your iPhone. You know, that might be a good distinction to make at some point.
World is talking about photography. I mean, should they be talking more about the mission? Yes, but photography is a part of it. But it's not just about gear, and settings. These are astronauts on a mission. The images are secondary. They're amazing. They're great. Do I want to see the best qualities with honors, sir? Yes. But my fear, as I said, is mediocrity. Accepting mediocrity. Let's not accept that as a people. Let's try to do the best that we can. I'm thoroughly looking forward to the images that get beamed back from the Artemis 2 because it's historic, it's amazing, it's interesting, it's scientific. I can't wait to see what they capture. And so far, Reed has done a fantastic job beaming those images back. Thank you very much for watching. Jared, PolinPhonosPhoto.com. See
cool.
ya.
Go ahead, subscribe to him. Even if you're not a photographer, he puts out a lot of very interesting content like this video. I hope he does a video reviewing all the different pictures that they took along the way. If he doesn't, I'll try to find a video that does review all those. And if I can't find an adequate video, I may try to make one myself. I'm not, on this channel, I'm not really doing original content now because I'm a busy person. Even this weekend, I've got 2 weddings. I've got a huge car show that I'm running media for and doing some very special, very exclusive pictures for. And then I've got another automotive event up at the Speedway in Charlotte. So I'm very busy. I'm doing a lot. I do this channel because it only takes a couple hours for me to, turn on my computer, watch a video, record the video, do a little bit of editing, make a thumbnail, upload it, schedule it, and it's good to go, So it's not a whole lot of time commitment. I've tried other YouTube channels. Like I mentioned, I have a car YouTube channel where I do car vlogging and stuff, but it's so much more time in editing and in uploading, downloading, posting, processing. It's a lot more time than just doing this. This is a lot quicker. So all that to say, I may eventually do original content, but right now I just don't have the time for it. But I do thankfully have enough time to block out in my schedule doing this, and so I've been doing this and enjoying doing it. So anyways, if you have any suggestions, things you want me to look at, drop it in a comment. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I would appreciate a like and subscribe. You don't have to, but it's free. And have a great day on Earth.